Hi everybody. On the 4th or 5th of June, depending where in the world you live, we've got a new moon at 14 degrees of Gemini. And new moons are always about new beginnings, an opportunity to start fresh. And the theme for this month or so, with the Sagittarius full moon that we've just had, and in 2 weeks after this new moon, another full moon in Sag, we've got a lot of energy of change, mutable energy, opportunity to do things differently, to allow yourself more freedom to communicate in new ways. And because this sun and moon are together with Venus in Gemini, this is all about learning to speak from your heart. At the time of this new moon, we've got a mutable grand cross. And many astrologers are going to say to you, oh, this is very difficult and a lot of chaos and all kinds of challenges are going to come up. And they may well do. But at the same time, the way I'm seeing this is that it's a wonderful opportunity to recreate the way that you communicate. So let's look at this mutable cross. Because mutable energy, by its very nature, is changeable. It's able to change itself. Look at Donald Trump. He's a Gemini. He's able to change himself. Lots of changes of mind and thought coming through him, and that's very mutable energies. We've got Saturn opposite. Saturn here in Sagittarius, opposite the new moon. So what does Saturn do? Well, Saturn has an energy of seriousness, of making something more serious. But it also has an energy of wanting you to focus on something. So when it's opposite, it's about your relationships. Relationship with yourself and relationship with other people. So what this, I feel, wants you to do is to focus your energy more, to focus and think about speaking what is true for you. But at the same time, to do it with the Venus energy, to do it with love. But to be ready to speak, even if it's frightening. It was very frightening for me to share in my last newsletter, my free newsletter, that I've begun to do some channeling. That was really scary to share that I'm channeling paintings that you can see behind me, channeling, shall we say, hard to describe, a certain tuning into more of a quantum energy, where there is more available to you, more information, more insights, more creativity, more healing, all sorts of different opportunities. And that was really scary to share. Some people liked it. Most people, I have to say, liked the information, but there were a few, I lost a few along the way. That may happen when you speak your truth. But if you do that in a loving way, you keep in mind the sense of wanting to do it with love, and you have that loving intention. Even when you're sending an email or a text. I see people, wherever I'm travelling, they're glued to their phones. Yes, it's like absolutely glued. Well, how about having a clear intention, using this Saturn energy, to send love every time you text somebody, every time you send an email, even if it's a business email. There's a different intention goes out, a different vibration goes out, and you may be very surprised at the different kinds of results that you get back in your relationships, all of your relationships. When you speak out, you release something from inside of you. You release, you become younger, you rejuvenate. When you hold it in, you hold a certain part of you that goes stagnant, that goes stale. So keep in mind this releasing energy. Now, we've got a square with Jupiter. Jupiter in Virgo. So what we've got at the time of this mutable cross is we've got an opposition with Saturn and squares here with Jupiter and Neptune. So let me take the Jupiter energy first of this square energy. So square between Sun, Moon, Venus to Jupiter. Sometimes there's a tendency to want to talk. Yes, once you're getting it out, you want to talk a lot, and sometimes in conversations it's very important to listen to the other person. Again, to listen with love. And not in Jupiterian energy to have your answer ready. Very often we've got an answer that's ready and we're quick and we don't allow the other person to release everything, to get it all out. Sometimes when a person's just got it all out, they feel so much better. It's a bit like when you go to the bathroom. Sorry to use this analogy, but if you don't get it all out, it feels uncomfortable. Same with being able to speak. So allow somebody to say what they need to say. Then we've got Neptune square to this Sun, Moon, Venus. So it's quite important with this square to speak an honest reality, not to adorn the truth necessarily, not to gild the lily maybe, but to be honest. Maybe you've made a mistake. I made a mistake. I was in Vienna the other day and I really should have made an appointment to do this business at the bank. And the bank manager was really not pleased when I came in and he said, Sie brauchen einen Termin, you need an appointment, you know. And so I just stood there and said, look, I'm really sorry. I'm only here for a day. Do you think you'd be able to help me? And in the end, he ended up being so helpful and so kind and so nice. So that's this kind of honesty here. It's so important. I was just, a friend of mine who I love very much was sharing with me that she didn't share her love for somebody in her 20s. She thought that he had another girlfriend, incorrectly as it would seem decades later, but she didn't share it. And that stayed with her all those years, and upon connecting with him years later, he said, why didn't you share that? That could have changed everything. He didn't have a girlfriend. So really take this opportunity for a new beginning in expressing what you need to express, but remembering to do it with love and kindness. And you know, you can do it just generally. Yeah, it doesn't have to necessarily be deep and meaningful to everybody because, you know, it's Gemini energy and Gemini isn't necessarily always deep and meaningful. It needs some lightness and some fun. So I saw somebody get on the tram in Vienna, been pouring down for 24 hours, and she had the nicest wellies on. And I told her, I said, oh, I like your wellies. Well, she was delighted. She beamed across her face. She said, I just bought them and it's the first day I'm wearing them. So what can you say to somebody that would really brighten their day, speaking from your heart, because it was true for me, I really liked them, they were blue and black and all fancy, that you can use the energies of this Grand Cross in these different ways that I've outlined here for you. So, speaking from my heart to yours, I love being with you on these videos. I love hearing what you have to say. I love it. Saturn in Sagittarius. Sometimes some of you say things that are really constructive criticism, that really helps me. Of course, I love and I read every single comment, and I do try to answer every single email and comment, as you notice. That's me speaking from my heart to yours, which I hope now goes out into the world in multitudes of ways. Thank you for listening. Happy new moon in Gemini. And I feel like skipping because Gemini needs to skip Yes, there's a skippity nature of Gemini, so have a skip in your step, a skip in your communications. Let's skip, and let's not go to that sad song that this also reminds me of. Say something. I'm giving up on you. Let's say something before somebody has to give up on us.
Say